going on, seniors? Good to see you. Coach Medina's here to just kind of give you guys just some words of encouragement, and then I want to go over Act 3, Scene 1. So before we start, I just want to let everybody know this week I know was a grind. It was a lot for you guys to do, to read a scene and then answer a question, especially not being in class. I will admit it is it requires a lot of effort from you. The reason why we had to go so hard this week is because you guys are officially done. Let me see. You guys are out of here. Your last day of e-learning is the 15th. So if we are going to try to finish Hamlet, we had to kind of grind this week. Next week it's going to be a little bit lighter, where I'm going to give you guys a reading and an activity, and then the next day I'm just going to post a video for you to watch. The day after that is going to be reading an activity. The day after that is going to be for you guys to watch a video. So this should not be as intensive as it was this week. For those of you who grinded it out, I'm proud of you. Keep it up. Guys, you have less than a month. Then you guys are done with high school. A lot of us have risen to the challenges of this, and I have no doubts that we're going to be doing fine in college. If you are still struggling, or if you are still, trying to, figure out how to do this, how to read it, how to write it, how to, you need to make sure that you're utilizing your resources. You need to reach out to your teacher. We can set up a Zoom conference, anything like that. What I will not accept is excuses. Okay. That's number one. So if you're not looking at the translations, if you're not watching the videos that I post, if you're not keeping up with the reading, if you are not, answering the questions to the scene, there's very little sympathy I have for you. So again, try your best to reach out if you're confused. Try your best to keep up. Everything from this week, again, is going to be due on Sunday. So if you missed out on some stuff from this week, or if you had to work or whatever, you still have until Sunday to get that work in for the majority of credit. So take advantage, okay? So let's just try to kind of I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a, a pep talk, maybe a real talk. So please, guys, again, if you are having trouble, you got to reach out. You got to let me know. You have your classmates that can also probably provide you with some assistance. There's multiple resources online. To just say, oh, I can't do it, or oh, it's too hard, is not an excuse. So let's make sure that we do our best. So Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. I just want to review that with you guys. It should have been turned in last night at midnight. If it hasn't yet, you still have until Sunday, so make sure you get it done. So Claudius and Gertrude, remember, they hired Rosencrantz and Guildenstern to kind of get the scoop on what's going on with Hamlet. They end up, after they have the conversation with Hamlet, they tell him that they're in town to see a play. They know that Hamlet likes plays. Hamlet wants a specific play to be shown because he is very intent on seeing if Claudius, or how Claudius reacts. That's the biggest kind of thing from last scene. So Claudius and Gertrude have a kind of a debriefing with Rosencrantz and Guildenstern about the conversation that they had with Hamlet. They do not say much other than he's excited for the play and the fact that there are people that are there to put on a play in Elsinore. They exit and they tell Claudius and Gertrude that Polonius comes in, and Ophelia as well. And Claudius talks to Polonius about how they are going to set up a secret meeting between Hamlet and Ophelia. They want to see how Hamlet interacts with her. So Claudius and Polonius decide that they're going to set up a meeting, and they're going to hide and kind of spy on on Ophelia and Hamlet. So they're kind of off on the side, kind of watching them, and they want to see sort of how it works or how the interaction is. So Ophelia is told to walk the halls. She's there reading a book, and she is surprised, she is supposed to. She's supposed to run into Hamlet, but before she does run into Hamlet, before they have their interaction, Hamlet is thinking about. He's kind of like having a depression moment. He has a soliloquy. He has probably one of the most soliloquies, one of the most important soliloquies in all of theater, with the to be or not to be speech. Hamlet is there on stage. He's alone. He's speaking about killing himself. He's thinking about how cowardly he's been acting because he hasn't been able to kill his dad yet. He hasn't been able to avenge his dad's death yet. He hasn't been able to kill his uncle. So Hamlet gives one of the most famous speeches in this scene, to be or not to be. And I'm pretty sure everybody in this class or in this world even kind of understands or knows that whole speech about to be or not to be. That is the question, right? It's a long soliloquy, but I think it's a very important one. So make sure you reread it a couple times. There's going to be an actual assignment, sort of like dissecting it. That's going to be on Monday, so don't worry about that right now. So seeing Ophelia coming, Hamlet kind of snaps out of that soliloquy, snaps out of his thoughts, and Ophelia tries to give back some gifts that Hamlet has left for him, and Hamlet rejects them. And he rejects her at the same time. He starts kind of insulting her. He's kind of acting like a jerk to her. And behind, kind of like off on the side, hidden, Claudius and Polonius are all watching this, and they're all seeing how he is kind of like coming at her sideways, like a really intensely. So Hamlet and Ophelia have a heated talk about betrayal, about love, and after Hamlet leaves, Polonius and Claudius are there from their hiding spot, and they're very shocked. Polonius is convinced, he's absolutely convinced that Hamlet is mad in love with Ophelia, and that Ophelia is kind of like, the fact that he's acting so crazy shows or proves that Hamlet is crazy in love with Ophelia. Claudius has a feeling that Hamlet is too dangerous at that point. He realizes, he's acting way too out of pocket, a little too unpredictable, and therefore he's dangerous. And he decides that he needs to send Hamlet away. He wants to send Hamlet to England because he feels that either Hamlet knows too much, he's kind of going a little bit crazy, he's coming undone, so he decides, I'm just going to send Hamlet to England, and maybe he'll get it together when he goes over there. So then after that, Polonius actually suggests another secret meeting between Hamlet and Gertrude, his mother, the queen. What we should leave with this, Polonius is such a gossip. This is the second time Polonius is like, I'll just hide and I'll check out what you guys are talking about, and I'll figure out and see sort of like what the real scoop is, right? He never does things like to somebody's face. He always kind of goes around their back and always kind of like figures out the information his own way. He plans to hide, and Claudius says it's okay. So some stuff that I need you guys to take away from this scene is that to be or not to be speech, it's super important. We see that Hamlet either is truly starting to go a little crazy, or he is really depressed. It talks about anger, it talks about suicide, it talks about his fear, it talks about all those emotions that are mixed up inside of him. And that, I think, is what makes Hamlet such a character that a lot of teenagers, a lot of people that are going through problems and things like that, they can connect with them in certain ways. So with that, I think that's all the notes I have. Unless you guys have questions, concerns, comments, please make sure that you are turning in all your work by Sunday, especially if you are below that 60% and you haven't been turning stuff in. Now is better time than ever. So get going, get it on time as best you can. But remember, the deadlines are actually kind of more suggestions at this point. But once I put grades in the grade book, I do not change them. So make sure that your work is turned in before Sunday. Make sure that you are giving me your best effort. Make sure that you are doing your absolute best regardless of, how much time we have left. All right? So stay awesome, stay positive, and have a great rest of your day, guys.